you were something.
You can tell me how you did it.
You like things explained, don't you? How we doing tonight?
Look, that roof's got to be at least 10, maybe 12 feet high. No human can make a vertical leap over 4 or 5 feet tops, I know, I'm a gymnast. Toughest men's sport in the world. Most people don't know that.
The Spartans, the ancient Greeks, were gymnasts too. They vaulted over the bulls, trained their elite warriors at play. Did you know that?
I know more than you think.
And you think more than you know. But knowledge was not the same as wisdom.
Yeah? What's the difference?
You know how to clean a windshield, right?
Yeah.
Wisdom is doing it.
I train 7 days a week, 50 weeks out of the year.
Why so much?
Are you serious? I'm a heartbeat away from qualifying.
Qualifying for what?
You watch the Olympics?
No. Thanks for starting that.
Look, to be as good as I am, I gotta do everything I can to make sure that I qualify.
There's a lot you'd have to know before you can understand what you saw.
Go. Ask me. Ask me something. Ask me anything. Are you happy?
You said I could ask you anything.
What does happy have to do with anything?
Everything.
My dad's got plenty of cash. School's kind of a breeze. I got straight A's. I got great friends. I'm in great shape, and I only sleep alone when I absolutely want to.
So why can't you sleep at night? Yesterday you came here at 3 a.m. Not tonight. That's 2 nights in a row.
What are you, some kind of a cookie mark philosopher or something like that?
You need some philosophy.
No, thanks, Socrates. I got enough at school.
Last question. If you don't make the Olympic team, what will you do?
If I don't what?
You must have thought about it.
What the hell are you talking about?
What's wrong?
I don't even know what I'm doing here. You're a freak, and I don't need you freaking me out.
So, the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing, wisdom is doing. The greatest gap in human intelligence, the greatest gap in human capability is the difference between knowing and doing. As a species, it's an interesting culture we live in where we have access to more information than ever before. More knowledge than ever before is available at our fingertips. Yet poverty, ignorance, obesity, disease are at an all-time high. It says, ask me anything. It says, there's a lot that you would have to know before you understood what you saw. And I see that happen with brand new reps, brand new troopers. They get here. They say, how did you do it? How did you get to $25,000 a week, Tim? So there's a lot you would have to know before you understood what we did. You're brand new, you're just getting started. Says, are you happy? Happy. What does happy have to do with anything? I don't need to get motivated. I need to get paid. What does that have to do with anything? He says it has everything. It was interesting as I met these quickie mark philosophers in the business. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? You show up here and they have a line for everything, you know. Like, I'm talking to everybody. Well, you make up in numbers what you lack in skill. You're like, well, successful people do what unsuccessful people aren't willing to. They have a line for every excuse that I had. And part of me was like, did you just regurgitate that from some book you read? Because part of me didn't want to believe that I could trust some of the people that I was working with. I was so skeptical and jaded. Like, did they really have my best intentions at heart? And it was so interesting because during this time, it's very plain to see that Dan is not yet willing to take the steps necessary in order to grow through his challenges. Because he hasn't gotten to the place where what we call coachable. But what I found out, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this, how many of you guys have heard the expression, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives? Isn't that interesting? So in your life and in your business, when you finally submit, so to speak, to being coachable, to being open, and letting go of what you think will work, and start listening to the people who actually have something that works, all of a sudden there's this new realm that opens up to you as to what's available. And that's exactly what our friend Dan experienced as well.
What would you say if I told you that I keep seeing those shoes in a dream I keep having?
I'd say maybe you're still asleep. You can live a whole lifetime without ever being awake.
Hey, Socrates. You know so much? How come you're working at a gas station?
This is a service station. We offer service. There's no higher purpose.
And pumping gas?
Service to others. Thanks for stopping by. Everyone tells you what to do and what's good for you. They don't want you to find your own answers. They want you to believe theirs.
Then let me guess. You want me to believe yours?
No. I want you to stop gathering information from outside yourself and start gathering it from the inside.
Were you part of some cult or something?
People are afraid of what's inside. And that's the only place they're ever going to find what they need. Why can't you sleep? Is it because maybe late at night, when all the noise dies down and you're laying there in bed and there's nobody around but you, then maybe you get a little scared. Scared because suddenly everything feels so empty. You tell me you want to be more than just someone who gets up on those rings and performs a well-practiced stunt or two. You tell me you want to be someone who uses his mind and his body in ways that most people would never have the courage to. And I will train you, Dan, to be a real warrior.
So Dan gets the invitation. Maybe you're still asleep. I love his remark. Service to many leads to greatness. How many of you guys have heard that? Pumping gas. See, the thing I found out in this business and in this life, and the thing that I really enjoyed about coming here to Seacret, was having an opportunity to meet Isaac Ben Shabbat. A man that didn't need you to carry his bag, didn't need to do anything. He just wanted to develop a wealthy community. You know, it's like I see people so much inside this industry, they feel like they're too good to do the little things. And I found out if you're too big for the little things, you know, then nobody has an opportunity to grow from being small to being big. But people are afraid of what's on the inside. But turning into being a real warrior is what's the interesting process here. It's almost the paradox of life, being strong enough to be vulnerable. Interesting holding both those concepts together. But becoming a real warrior, somebody that's willing to use their mind, their heart, their passion. I mean, you tell me that you're not here just to be able to make another dollar. I mean, you're not just here to sign up your next new agent, are you? Is that all you're here for? Or is there something more? Something greater, something bigger, something inside you that stirs, that says, you know what, it's time for me to step into something greater. It was that call, that interior, that started to call, that started to pull something out of me that said, you know what, I can do better, I can do more. And when I got the invitation, it was very interesting because when I started getting around leadership, I found out that they had expectations of me. And I found out one of the reasons in life that a lot of people don't get what they want is because they're surrounded by a group of people that have very low expectations of them. And I believe Tony Robbins said it best. He said, the quality of your life is in direct reflection to the expectations of your peer group. Wow. Most people have a peer group that expectations are you're going to do nothing more than what they do. You're not going to take 5 vacations this year. You're not going to donate more to your churches, your community. You're not going to buy a 3rd home. You're not going to double your income. How many of you guys agree with me? Most people live in an expectational peer group that doesn't believe that your income will double this year. How many of you guys understand what I'm talking about? But here's what's amazing. When you get around people here, all of a sudden you get around a different peer group that actually does. Yes. And here's the challenge. When people expect more of you, the question is, you will either do one of 2 things. You will either rise to the expectation, or you will go back to what's comfortable. And most people will choose comfort or convenience over growth. Why? Because growth is scary, and growth is challenging. It's easier to go back to what's comfortable. It's easier to go back to what's familiar. And it's interesting, they say that for those that have studied psychology and families, especially with battered women or abused children, it's interesting because they have actually done research and found out that abused children oftentimes would rather stay in a known abusive home than an unknown home. Wow. Because it's comfortable. So then the question is, are you willing to go through the training process? The invitation is there, and are you willing to accept the growth process here with Seacret? How many of you guys are willing to accept that? Yes? Yeah. So here's the challenge. The biggest challenge is learning how to take out the trash. That is going to be your biggest challenge here with Seacret, just like Dan.